First of all, I'm Dr. Tony McMurtry. I'm the Associate Head of Learning and Teaching in the Business School. That means I'm supposed to know something about this. The advantage I have is I know how little I know and you don't know what I don't know. So it's one of the great advantages I have. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the university and the business, or how the business school fits into the university to start with. Then I'm going to talk about the programs that we offer in the business school, sort of what's involved with them, and then just talk a little bit about some stuff that occurs, some support and that sort of things for you that are available within the university. First of all, you'll get sick of hearing this today. You attend various presentations. The university is ranked in the top 1% of the universities in the world. You hear all these nasty things about how bad the university system is in Australia. Well, let me tell you, in comparison to the rest of the world, we're magnificent. What our ambition is to produce work-ready graduates. Graduates who are ready to go to work, in other words, not just job-ready, and that's not the same thing, but what it really means is what we're trying to do is produce holistic graduates who are able to take leading roles in the business world. A key to this, and a key to the learning and teaching, which I'm responsible for in the school, is the research side of things. We have a very high research profile. We have some world-leading experts in particular business areas that are published in well-ranked journals. And so what we're trying to do is that last bit is to produce graduates who will consistently achieve positions of significance and influence in the community and government and industry, but we don't care about government. Because government doesn't care about... No political messages today. One of the things we're very proud of in the business school is the number of different organisations around Australia and around the world who recognise us and accredit our programs. What is accreditation and why is it important? Well, accreditation is just that. It is people or organisations with a particular interest who look at our programs, look at us and say, yes, they're doing what we need and their graduates will meet our requirements. We have sort of two sides of it. There's the professional accreditation we get from people like the accounting bodies, CPA Australia, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Australia, finance bodies and other professional bodies who look at our programs and say you're teaching the stuff we need. In some cases, you're teaching the stuff we require, and that's perhaps slightly different. Then there's the other side of accreditation. There's the international side of it. And the one at the top there, the AACSB, the Association for the Advancement of Collegiate Schools of Business. It is an international business program accrediting organisation. It's based in the US. The first A used to stand for the American, but when they went international, they had to change that. And its role, it looks at business programs in universities around the world. It's them. And it looks at business programs around the world, a lot of them, and it doesn't accredit them. Now, there's about somewhere, we're not quite sure the exact number, somewhere between 500 and 600 business programs around the world that are accredited. And when you put that into context, there's about 30,000 business schools in the world. It starts to see where we sit. And so that's very important. What it is a recognition of quality. It's a recognition of our commitment to education. It's a recognition of our commitment to learning. And it's a recognition of our commitment to improvement. And it is about improvement. And it is a very stringent international peer review process where we have a set of standards that we have to meet. And we don't get to say whether we meet them or not. We are judged by experts. We're the only AACSB accredited university in South Australia, but we're certainly not the only one in Australia. There's about 6 or 7 of us, which once again talks about the quality of the Australian university system. But why come to Adelaide? And why do business at Adelaide? That's probably more what we're interested in. Why study commerce at Adelaide or business at Adelaide? Well, first of all, our programs. As I've already showed you, or hope you can see, they're very highly regarded in the community. was built, and we maintain a very close link with professional bodies associated. Why not working?
You're not, so we can just leave that there, that's fine. It'll catch it. Yeah, that's fine, just there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
1, 2, 3. I've got 3 microphones now. I feel like a rock star. The press conference. Next question. No questions later, please. What we have is we're proud of and we maintain very strongly relationships with the various professional bodies in the various professional degrees that we provide. So we've got the accountants, we've got managers, we've got the finance people and so on. What we do is we have a very close relationship with these people where we work with them to ensure that what we are putting into our programs is what they need. Most of us who are academics have fairly strong ideas about most things. And we have fairly strong ideas about what should go into a business program, which doesn't necessarily always align with what they think should go into a business program. So, but there's a good relationship around that anyhow. As I'll show you in a minute, the business school provides graduates with access to a diverse range of careers. We have a plethora, good word for this hour of the morning, of career opportunities across all sectors, the public sector, the private sector, not-for-profit sector, including the government sector, both locally, nationally and internationally. There will be opportunities for you to explore international relations within your program. So that's something we do value as well. For example, we've got a recent graduate who's now working as a market analyst in an international aviation company in London. We've got a finance graduate who's working as a business analyst, an investment banking house, as a business analyst in Switzerland. Another one I've got here, somebody gave me these to say, well, these are the ones you can... Tax account with KPMG. I should declare a bias here. My wife is a tax accountant, so anybody says anything about tax accountant, yeah. A student with become a fashion designer with his own label and now embarked on marketing locally and interstate. Okay, we've got fashion designers as well. Okay, I shouldn't make light of it because it is actually serious when we do take it seriously, and they are important things. They're just examples of the sorts of places where our graduates end up. And part of helping that, or part of driving that, is our staff. We're committed to employing only top quality academic staff. And we have measures of academic quality. And that AACSB accreditation has measures built into place, and we need to meet that. In terms of research, it's because research is a very important part of what we do. It informs our teaching a lot. Our staff are represented on the editorial boards of about 50 major international academic journals. We have 2 major academic journals based in our school. So there is that commitment that way. As far as business schools go, we're one of the top business schools in Australia in terms of research publication, and we have a high presence at international conferences. Okay, down to the school. We've got sorted down a little bit. What are we going to offer you? Why are you actually here? You're here to find out about our business programs. Well, just to show you where the business school sits, we've got the university, and then within the university we've got 4 faculties. Within the faculty of the professions, which is the faculty we are in, we have 5 schools. One of these schools is the business school. The business school offers a range of degrees. It offers a Bachelor of Commerce, plus an options honour, an honours option, a finance degree, once again with honours, and then some postgraduate work. Master of Commerce by coursework. This is for people who are changing professions, that sort of thing, and they might have done an engineering degree and want a bit some management skills to go with it, so they would do a Masters in Management to help them. Then we've got the MBA, and finally PhDs. Well, we don't want to worry about them, they're too much like hard work. In terms of teaching staff into these programs, we've got staff who have won teaching awards for excellence within the university, within the state and nationally. As I've said before, we strongly engage with the relevant professional bodies relating to each of our programs. We have as in response, just an example of how we relate with those people as part of what they have asked us to do, or what they say is our graduates have, and they always say this, have some communication skills. And I say to them, well, our graduates are teenagers. And having been the parent of a couple of teenagers over the years, I actually understand and There's a difference. And one means you're dopey dad and the other one means you're really dopey dad. But we have developed an integrated communications package through our program to help students communicate appropriately in the business world. As part of our ongoing support to students, as part of what we have available, there's an opportunity for our students to engage with the professions, to engage with the community, both locally and internationally. And I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. Okay, but we're really probably here interested, not worried about the bottom three, but the top two, what we call the undergraduate programs. Okay. One of the things you will have heard about recently, or you may have heard about recently, is, well, two things. One you would have only heard about in the last week, since the new Vice-Chancellor made a speech and the media misinterpreted it, but we won't worry about that, is declining what we call ATARs, the ATAR you get. Now that has been going down a little bit for the last couple of years. It's sort of plateaued at the bottom. And that does not indicate in any way whatsoever that the quality of the program is declining. What that actually means is we have a number of spaces. It's a function of supply and demand. We have a limited number of spaces available, and that number of spaces has grown, so we can go further down the list in making our offers. The other thing you might have heard about in the last couple of days is the press talking about the university thinking about cancelling vanity degrees. Well, nobody within the university yet knows what a vanity degree is. And let me tell you that certainly none of ours are. And there is no plan to cancel any degrees at the moment. It was one line in a 10-page working paper the Vice-Chancellor published. So there we go. Back to our ATAR for a second though, just to let you know, it still sits very strongly. It's down. Last year I think it was 82.5. To put it into perspective, Flinders was about 70. And UniSA was in the mid-60s, so we're still much higher ranked than the other universities. By the way, within our Bachelor of Commerce, they are the majors, for want of a better expression, that we offer: accounting, finance, IB, marketing and management. And I'll talk about each of those in a second, and then I'll talk about finance. And I'll bring the Bachelor of Finance in at the end. And I will talk about the Bachelor of Commerce financing in conjunction with that. But before I talk about the undergraduate programs, let me just define what we mean by commerce. It is a multidisciplinary collection of areas, as it says. I know you can read, so I won't bother reading it to you. And it includes the disciplines that we've talked about. And its role, what does it do? Well, as a generic perspective, we have a basic, if you like, we can have a basic Bachelor of Commerce with no speciality in it. Like you did an arts degree with no major, you did a business degree with no major. And that'll bring together all these different disciplines. But each one of these disciplines that you can see has been designed to give you the basic skills and thinking capacity around that particular discipline. There is the opportunity to combine them, but that sort of frees up or tightens up what you can do in other areas. The Bachelor of Commerce has a basic structure. Now, as I talk about what you're going to study, I'm talking about a full-time load. The full-time load is 8 courses per year. And each course the year is divided into 2 semesters, cunningly labelled semester 1 and semester 2. And you don't need to make a choice about the specialisation you want to take until after you're here. When you put in your SATAC application, you just apply for the Bachelor of Commerce. It is a generic application for all of them. There are 4 fundamental courses or 4 foundation courses that need to be done irrespective of what major you do. And they are a course called Accounting for Decision Makers, which is I'm an accountant and I argue it's not an accounting course, but what it actually is a financial literacy course. It teaches you how the finances of a organisation work. It gives you the basic introduction to those sorts of things. Then you've got to do some economics. 2 courses in economics, macroeconomics and microeconomics. I'm partly convinced that the only reason you have to do that is because when I was a undergraduate, we had to do it. So if I had to do it, you've got to do it. And you've got to do a statistics course because a lot of business disciplines require statistics. So they are common across all courses, all programs. And they're all done, generally they are done 2 each in your first 2 semesters in first year, and you'd put in a couple of other courses, elective courses around that, and there's a whole list of those. If depending on your choice, there are some other first level courses you may need to take to go forward because they are prerequisites for second and third level courses. And they are Information Systems 1, which is I was going to say a basic computing course. Am I giving you a problem walking backwards and forwards? Good, because I'm going to keep doing it. I'm feeling rather hamstrung. When I lecture in here normally I have a clicker so I don't have to come back here, but I haven't got one, so I've got to keep coming back to the mouse. It's a pain. I'm feeling like I'm tied up. But depending on the specialty you choose, some of these courses, so there are some first level courses that are what we call prerequisite courses for later on. Once you get into second and third year, you can make a choice about your major and you will follow a study path around that. Over the whole 3 years, you will do 24 courses. Now I'm going to keep moving for time, but so what I will do is I will just briefly go through each of the programs that we offer, what they're about and how they do it. I'm not going to go through the courses you have to do, but just look at the majors themselves. First of all, the Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting. This is a course that's done by people who want to be accountants. Why isn't everybody sort of suddenly sitting up and saying, that's me? Guess what I am? If you want to become a member of if you want to practice as an accountant and become a member of one of the professional accounting bodies, you have to do this course. A lot of its content has been prescribed by the accounting bodies, CPA Australia and the Institute. Trouble is, when I say accountant, most people think of somebody boring in a suit and tie, down at KPMG, filling in forms and doing tax and being a bit like my wife, boring. Actually, let me get her. She's probably watching this downstairs. So let me just say, she's not boring, her job's boring. But accounting's a lot more than that. Every organisation you have anything to do with has somebody who looks after the money. That person's an accountant, whether they're a qualified accountant or not. Every business that you do business with has accountants. So they're more than just public accountants, which is what somebody who works at KPMG are. They're all over the place. They have their CFOs, they have all these sorts of people. They're generally accountants. So you can specialise in particular areas, it'll take you all over the place. Specialise in taxation, accounting systems, which is just general accounting, corporate accounting for if you want to work in the bigger firms. I better not be rude. If this was an undergraduate lecture, I'd be having fun now. And take up a whole lot of roles, careers in finance, careers in anything. I don't know why we've even got a list up there. We just should say careers anywhere. If you have an Australian accounting qualification, you are employable virtually around the world. If you have an Australian accounting qualification and you Facebook that you're going to England for 6 months looking for work, there'll be half a dozen accounting firms at the airport waiting for you. That's the sort of level of qualification we provide in Australia. And I'd like to say it's just our qualification, but it's true for all accountants from Australia. Okay. Next, management. Within management, we have the opportunity to specialise in some particular areas: organisational behaviour, international management, though we do have an international business major as well, a bit of HRM, a bit of strategy. Now what we're doing with within our management major is we're sort of giving you an introduction to most of these things, and you can do a little bit extra in one particular area if you like. This program has been accredited by the AIM, the Australian Institute of Management, as well as ARI, Australian Human Resource Institute. So that once again is important. They don't have the same degree of input as the accountants do. In other words, they're not prescriptive, but they look at what we do and say, we're happy with that. Once again, career opportunities. All sorts of consultancies all over the place, research capacity, administrative capacities. One thing, if you're thinking of doing a management program, one thing I would suggest to you fairly strongly is you also look at getting a technical skill behind you. I used to help teach in the introductory management course, and I'd ask young students what they wanted to do when they graduated. And in the management course, most would say I was going to be a manager. So manager of what? One bloke was actually said, I'm going to apply for the CEO of BHP. I think he was joking, but never quite know with 17-year-old undergraduates. But if you're going to be a manager, you're not going to get, your first job is not going to be a management position anywhere. So you need to have some technical skills to go with it. That's just my advice. Okay, moving on, next one. Marketing. We have a basic underpinning marketing program, marketing structure, and then on top of that you can do things like look at things like consumer behaviour, market research, market communication, international marketing. If you do the market strategy and project course, then you will actually do go out and do a marketing exercise for a firm. We have firms who pay us to have our undergraduate marketing class prepare marketing strategies for them. And they come back every year for more and pay us more each year, so we must be doing it right. Credited by the Australian Market and Social Research Society. Then there's the Marketing Institute as well, AMI. You can end up with a post-nominal Certified Professional Marketer, CPM. Doesn't sound as good as CPA, does it? And that qualifies you for a Certificate of Market Research. That requires, as do some of these post-nominals, letters after your name, extra work. Career opportunities anywhere. Once again, market planning, brand marketing, advertising. It says advertising executive, I'm not sure at the moment. Straight out. Sales manager, PR, research. A lot of our students go into market research. While there's not a big amount of advertising or marketing organisations in Adelaide, there are some fairly robust and large market research organisations in Adelaide. The cost of doing that sort of backroom business is a lot cheaper in Adelaide than it is in Sydney, so they do that sort of thing here. Okay, the next of our programs, international business. Do international business, once again, some areas you can specialise or lead towards. They're also required that you have what we call an international cultural component as part of this program, where you must either study a foreign language, go and do some approved what we call cultural. I'm not looking at him because he's going to tell me when I've got 5 minutes to go. My stopwatch is sitting around the corner. Hide, I won't see you. You can do some what we call cultural courses, or what we encourage the most and what a lot of our students do is you go and study overseas and study in an alternate culture to get some sort of feeling. While we have as you'll know, we have a good proportion of our students come from overseas to study in Adelaide. We have to convince them that they can't go back to their home country to get their cultural component because that doesn't count. So what do? They come from Singapore, or they come from China, or they come from India, and they go to Disneyland for 6 months. Well, they go to Anaheim, they study at UCLA or somewhere and spend 6 months in Disneyland and come back and say, well, I'm sorry, but I failed it all, but I did meet my cultural requirements. Yeah. And I wouldn't encourage that one little bit. Okay. Bachelor of Commerce Corporate Finance. Now, I've left this to the end because I'm going to link it through to the Bachelor of Finance, which is the other program we offer in a minute. They can range from anything here from the more technical financial economics, your corporate finance. This is about corporate finance. Corporate finance is about the financial management within an organisation, the finance division within an organisation. It's not the finance industry as much. That's what the BFIN is about in a second. But this is about the person who runs the finances within the organisation. Particular areas of finance that we look at: financial economics, investment strategies, portfolio theory and management, then options and futures and risk management, Not quite sure how exciting that is, but the people who do it tell me. And by the way, for all our graduates, these guys get the best starting salaries. We once had 2 students standing at the lift asking the professor, somebody who'd just been appointed as Professor of Finance and was very proud of himself and his big professorial salary. 2 students came up and said, and they both said they'd both been given offers at 2 merchant banks in Sydney, and their starting salaries were greater than the professorial salary, and they were asking him which one they should take. Didn't go down very well. So, but it is hard work. Recognised by, provides the core knowledge for FinSIA. FinSIA Financial Institute of Australia or something along those lines, but it's the professional body of the finance people, and it provides the post-normal and the ongoing training for them. So that's basically the BCom. The other program we offer at the undergraduate level is the BFin, Bachelor of Finance. This is a specialised finance program. It is specifically designed for students who want to work in the finance industry. So, as far as its structure goes, it's very similar at the first level to the BCom, and you've got those core courses you have to do, but then there are also some other courses you need to do. An introduction to financial mathematics, it has a strong mathematical component attached to it, and so there's a couple of maths courses that you need to do. Which maths course you will do will depend upon how about your maths you do at year 12, and don't ask me what that should be, because I don't know. And also the results of a diagnostic test you'll do when you start. So what sort of things it covers? It's basically a program designed to help people get into the finance industry, financial analysts, brokers, those sorts of people that work like public accountants, provide finance services for a fee. So corporate treasurers, investment advisors, credit analysts, securities analysts, financial planners, stockbrokers, that's the sort of career path that it's being designed for. It is recognised by, well, what the actual wording is, it provides the body of knowledge required by the CFA, the Certified Financial Analysts Institute. Now, to go on and become a certified financial analyst, you have to complete their program. To be able to enter their program, you have to have this core body of knowledge. We're one of the few universities outside of the United States that provides it. So it's not that it's an American program, it's just that we're good. Okay, BCom Corporate Finance or BCom Finance? I've basically pointed out the differences. The Corp Fin's designed for a financial manager within an organisation. So it's aimed at you guys who want to work in that sort of area, work in a large organisation in the corporate financial investment decision-making side of an organisation. How do we invest our profits? Last point, the third dot point down there, combined with the accounting, the skills gained are invaluable in attaining a professional employment. Half our graduating class just about combine the Corp Fin with the accounting. Now maybe not quite half, 30%. Half our graduating class graduate with a accounting major, and of those, 3/4 would be eligible to take out a Corp Fin major at the same time. So very much put together, very much like linked together. BFin, as I said, focuses on financial markets and how they interact with each other. Covers investment, funds management, that sort of thing. Okay, entry options. He's giving me the word, I haven't looked because I knew he was going to do it. It's difficult to predict what the TR this year will be. It's a function of the market, as I said. Last year it was 82, 83, something along those lines. I expect it to be about the same. I don't think there'll be much difference. So for a lot of you, that's not a problem. For some of you will say, well, I'm not sure about this. Am I going to get it? Geez, I wish I'd studied a little bit last year. Tony's made this sound really exciting and I want to go there now. So what if you don't get an offer? How do you get in if you don't get an offer? Well, I used to tongue-in-cheek say go to UniSA. That's your last option. If you don't get the TER you're looking for, then there are options within the university. You could, for example, enrol in a Bachelor of Finance, which has a lower TER, or a Bachelor of Economics, which has a lower TER, ATAR, I've got to get used to this, only been in 12 months, has a lower ATAR, and if you do well enough in that, you can do what we call a credit transfer and transfer into our program. So you study 1 year in another degree and apply to SATAC at the end of that year based on your ATAR, or your GPA, depending on how you go. So I just want to finish off now with a few little things around what's here for you as a student. Let's get out of the classroom. Classrooms are boring. You're going to spend too many hours sitting in rooms exactly like this around the university, listening to boring people exactly like me around the university. You've got to have something else as well. What do we have? Well, we have several student bodies. The first one, ISEC. Don't ask me to tell you what it stands for because I don't know, because I don't speak French. It's a French acronym. It's an international business students body. And they organise internships and cross-cultural studies and those things around the world. The second one I think is probably a little bit more important in that it's just the ABSS, the Adelaide Business Student Society. They organise the piss-ups. Mum and Dad, you didn't hear that. We don't encourage that sort of thing at this university, but that's their job. They also organise a lot of things like professional nights where they have relationships with the professional firms and bring them in and do careers night and run workshops on things like CV writing and that sort of thing. And ISEC do that to a certain degree as well. So both bodies are worth getting involved with, I think. What else do we have for you as far as your professional development goes? Study abroad programs. We have a peer mentoring scheme. When you come here, you will be approached and asked whether you want to be mentored by a senior or older or more experienced student. As you get on in the program, you'll be asked if you want to provide that mentorship. That helps and it looks good on the CV. Where all our school committees have student representatives on them. You'll get sick of hearing from the professional bodies as they come into classrooms and tell you why you should become a student member of their particular professional body. And we provide a graduate yearbook, which is just your photo and your bio of how good you are, and it gets flogged to all the employers, it gets sent out to all the major employers in the state. Oops, wrong button. Study abroad, I've just got a couple of quotes up there. I'm running rapidly out of time and I'm going to be in trouble. And the economists are coming in here afterwards. So study abroad, as I said, go all over the world. Peer mentoring, designed to help students settle into university life, because this life, let me tell you, is going to be extremely different to anything you've experienced at high school. Number one, it's self-directed. High schools have a teaching philosophy, we have a learning philosophy. That shifts the onus to you to learn. We will help you as much as you can, but at the end of the day, without making this sound horrible, we don't care if you pass. My KPI, well, it sort of is how will you pass. I will help you as much as I can if you work. If you don't work, consequences. Hence the uni bar does very well out of first year students. But we also, as part of the B program, or the peer mentoring program, and it's called the B program, it stands for Business, Economics and Education. It's a cross-faculty program, and they organise all sorts of things like social days and barbecues and all that sort of thing. Okay, a few insights for a few graduates. The one thing to remember is you'll never get this opportunity again. Never will you get the opportunity to finish school and go into university, to get out of the hassles of those teachers that make you sit in the classroom and do your homework, to come and listen to people like me who tell bad football jokes and occasionally say, have you done some work? But seriously, what we can provide you is an opportunity to prepare yourselves for the corporate world, to prepare yourselves for the wider, bigger, nastier world. And it's not just the classroom, it's the extracurricular activities that go with it that help you. We will talk to you and talk to you and talk to you and talk to you and talk to you about networking and establishing networks amongst your peer group. Because sitting in this room somewhere are future CEOs of major corporations around Australia and around the world. We know this. We know where our students go. We know who we've got. The Deputy Prime Minister from Malaysia is a graduate of ours. 2 of the senior ministers in Singapore are graduates of ours. Several of the senior partners in major accounting firms around the world are graduates of ours. So we know where our graduates go, and what you will have is the opportunity to network with people who one day will be in those positions. And that's one of the great things we can offer you. If you want some more information, www.adelaide.edu.au/study, the Student Centre, there. Apparently there's an information night later in the year, but we'll be publicising that. I didn't know about that till just then. And also, in about 5 minutes' time after I've had a drink and finished my piece of cake, I will be back over in Bonython Hall in the business area if anybody wants to come and ask me questions. Now, I've done this magnificently well. I've gone a little bit over time, so you haven't got time to ask me questions now. If you think that if you thought I've brought you up, your adrenaline's a little bit too high. The economists are coming in next to talk about the Bachelor of Economics. That will bring you back down and put you back to sleep again. Thank you for listening.